Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Recently I've been using Terraform a lot for a lot of work that I do in the cloud. So in this video, I wanted to quickly set it up my Ubuntu VirtualBox that I have with Terraform. So I have used Terraform with both Mac and Windows, and I have a lot of success. So I just want to make sure that it works on Ubuntu, and I just want to show you if the documentation, if I follow the step, it works. And again, if you do a quick search on like how to do a HashiCorp learn for Terraform, you will land to this page, but I'm gonna also give you this link right here. Okay, so if I come back to my terminal, what I want to do, I want to do lsb release. Okay, and let's see, it's A is gonna give you the version of the Ubuntu machine that I'm running. So if you want to be exactly a match my system, so I'm using Ubuntu 20.4, and it's a good command to learn. lsb release dash A is gonna give you all the information about your Ubuntu. All right, with that, let's go back in here. So to install here, if you see this bar, okay, here you have information. So first of all, is manual installation you can do. You can download, create path, and download the bean and all that stuff, but you don't really need to do that. Homebrew for the Mac OS, Chocolatey you can use to install it on Windows. And since I'm going to use Linux, you can see the which of the Linux versions are highly supported. So I'm going to use the Ubuntu. That's my favorite Linux distro. So first thing, sudo apt-get update. That's what we do all the time, right? And then we do sudo apt-get install, and then we're going to say why. So it's not going to ask. You're going to pause. It will automatically install. GNU-PG, then software properties command and curl. So those are the dependencies most likely. So let's just copy that. Go back over here and let's just paste and provide the sudo password, and it's first it's updating my repo, and then it is downloading the binaries that are dependent. And right now I have a one warning I saw, but everything else looks like going well. Make sure that you're connected to the internet when you do that. If you are not, then you may get stuck and it will not go anywhere. And now it's all done. So the next thing that you need to do, you need to add the GPG key. Okay, this will make sure that your when you're downloading your files, if there's any validation is required due to security reason, you have the right key available. So add the HashiCorp GPG key, and we're going to learn the curl command. Again, I'm going to copy this one, go back to my terminal and paste and hit enter, and it says OK. And a lot of times in Linux, you can also write echo dollar question mark, and if you see a 0 as the output, that's the exit code. That means everything went well. Okay, that's another trick that I use a lot. Okay, so we got the GPG key, and then what we'll do, we are going to update our repo, okay, with this particular HashiCorp Linux repository. So just you can copy this one. You can do this manually, but this command will nicely update the right file for you. So come back over here, paste the code, sudo apt add repository. You're adding a Debian repository, AMD 64-bit, and providing the URL. And you're looking for the LSB release CS. It's gonna go get the release for your system and get the right repo for you. So hit enter, and now it's adding everything, updating your repository most likely. And once that is done, okay, we are again going to do first a sudo apt-get update that you always run, and then if and this double ampersand, that what it does, if this command is successful, then only it runs this command. So this is a beautiful command. So let's copy this one, and over here let's just clear the screen a bit, then paste it and hit run. While this is going on, let's see if I can find find the edit here. Preferences, text, custom font. Let's make the font a little bit bigger. So instead of 12, let's make it 20. Okay, so when we're doing this video and stuff, you can see a little bit better. All right, so that's all we have. Let's do a clear here. Okay, so we are done to this mark. Okay, almost all of our comments are done. Uh, Now here there's a tip. Now you have added the HashiCorp repository. You can install vol, console, nomad, and packer with the same command. Okay, we don't need any of that stuff, so we are not worried. The last thing we want to check, make sure that our Terraform is installed properly. So we'll just do a Terraform help to make sure that the command is available to us. So let's just do Terraform help and look at that. So everything is available to us. So I know the Terraform is installed. As a matter of fact, if I just do TERR and then press the tab, there we go. I have Terraform available to me. It's in the path, right? So, and I can also do like which Terraform, and then it should tell me it's where it's the binary is installed. So it's installed under user bin because Linux follows uh, what the file hierarchy system, so you know where things are going to be installed. That's why I love Linux. All right, so with that, let's see what we can do. Add any subcommands to learn more about what it does. So yeah, so the help, Terraform help is pretty good. So let's, if you want to learn about Terraform plan, which we're gonna do in a little bit a lot. So let's just do Terraform help and plan. So it's gonna tell you what that plan does for you. Okay, so it's gonna generate a speculative execution plan showing what actions Terraform would take to apply the current configuration. This command will not actually perform the planned action. So this is important. So plan kind of simulate what is going to happen, but it does not actually deploy anything for you. So deploy anything, you use the Terraform apply. Okay. So here is a whole bunch you can destroy once you plan and you have applied some changes. You can easily run the destroy command and it will destroy the objects that got created and a whole bunch of things that you can read through. I'm going to come back over here. Troubleshoot, we didn't have any problems, so I'm just going to skip this for now. And tab completion, I don't have to do because I already got the tab completion available in my Ubuntu. So let's just do a very quick quick start tutorial, okay? Like almost a hello world tutorial. So Docker desktop for Mac, we are on Linux. We don't need that. We don't need that. Let's come to the Docker engine for Linux. So let me make sure if I have Docker available. So again, let's do a clear. If I run the Docker, it's not found. So let's try apt install Docker, and then we probably need the community edition CE. Hold on. All right, everyone. So what I really want to install is the Docker C version. If we can have the Docker C version available to me. So, okay, I need to probably do a sudo first. But I don't know if that version is, this one is not available. So what I would like to do, instead of getting just the apt install Docker from the Debian repository, I'm just gonna go to the official Docker. So all I did is search for the Docker install Ubuntu. It will bring up this page. I'm gonna go there and do kind of the same thing what we did for the Terraform installation. First, I'm gonna set up the repository. Again, you do the sudo apt-get update. So just follow the same steps that we have done. And once it's done, you get the next step. Then you are installing again the CS certificates. So hit install and GNU-PG. This one we probably already installed in the last when we tried to install the Terraform. So it's probably not going to install anything new. Yeah, it says we already have it available, 0 upgraded. So you didn't really need, but this one you need. So you want to trust the Docker official repos. So we're gonna add the GPG key for a Docker repo. So let's just add that one in here, run this, and that's now added. And interesting, it didn't give me any output, so I want to make sure that it's 0, still worked everything. And the last one, to set up the stable repository. So I want the stable, I don't want the native of the test repository. So just get that command, and these are just bash commands. If you know a little bit of Linux, you will know what's going on. So your echo, and then you're adding the repository, the stable version, and T usually prints the output and then also send everything. So here you're sending to dev now, so you don't need to store anything. So that's done. So once you have all of that here, the next thing you need to do, again, you start with the apt-get update. So now it will get all the update from the new repo that we have added. And then here is the one, community edition is what we need. There's enterprise edition as well, but you don't need to get that one. Just community edition is all that you need. And I'm gonna say, and it's gonna download a good bit of files, 447 MB, and I'm gonna say okay, just get it from it. So this is going to install the official Docker for me, and I would recommend that you use this way for your Docker installation, especially if you want to use it for a little bit. Okay, this repo will have the latest and greatest of Docker, and avoid using the Debian one. I mean, you can probably be okay if you're doing just playing with the Docker, but this is what I would recommend. Okay, so once we have the Docker installed, what else do I need to do? So this is install the Docker engine. So this is what we did, and that's about it. I don't think we need anything. And if you want to see what versions of Docker got installed, you can run these commands, and then you can quickly run the hello world command to make sure that your Docker installation went good. So let's just run gas this commands. Here's the version of the Docker that got installed and all the packages. And let's just quickly run a Docker container real quick. Let's see. No, not that one. I'm just gonna run uh, Docker engine is installed properly just by running this one. This is like a hello world that you typically so yeah, it's all good. It says hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. And to generate this message, what happened? The Docker client contacted the Docker daemon. The Docker daemon pulled the hello world image from the Docker hub, something we will learn later. Then the Docker daemon, which is a service, created a new container from the image which runs the executable that produces the output you are currently reading. So everything seems to be working. So to do something more interesting, it's also saying, hey, run this. If you run this real quick, again, you need the sudo for now. And what's going to happen in IT really gives you the interactive terminal. And now you see, now you have a terminal. So now you can do cool stuff here. So I'm just going to exit out of this and back to my Ubuntu machine. So again, I'm sorry it took a little bit of time to install the Docker, but it's a good thing that you have it. So now I'm just gonna close some of that, and let's just go back to our Terraform where we want it to be. So now we have installed both Terraform and the latest version of the Docker. So now what we do, we're gonna go to our Docker engine for Linux. We're gonna create a new directory, learn Terraform Docker container. So let's copy. So here, if you do ls, I don't have that directory, so it's just best. It's going to create that directory, learn Terraform Docker container, do ls, and here's the directory. Next thing that we're going to get inside the directory to cd to learn, and then do ls. So there's nothing in here right now. And here, a lot of the times when you're creating your Docker file, you name the file main.tf. That's just convention. You can use other names, but I would suggest go with the main.tf because if I'm a developer, that's the file I'll be looking for. Okay, so over here, let's do attach main.tf. Okay, I'm just going to use vi, then main.tf. Okay, let's just open it. And what we'll do, I'm just copy this piece of code that I have. Okay, and then right click on it and paste. Okay, so that is my vi editor, and we're going to read what all of that stuff is saying. So first of all, you have a Terraform block, and this is a required block for the provider. Who is the provider? Is the Docker. Okay, and you have a source and a version, and pretty much most of the time you go and copy this from someplace. You don't have to remember any of that. Again, you have this provider block, so you are now specifying we are going to use Docker, and you see these quickly brackets. You can provide additional stuff in there, but then you're saying, okay, after the provider block you have a resource block, and you are naming the resource block as a Docker engine, a Docker image, and you're specifying the name is the nginx. The name here, you have the squiggly bracket, so this is the configuration for this resource. You're going to call it nginx latest. Keep locally, and then you have it false. Looks like you have another resource block here. You have a Docker container. Okay, so that was the image, and this is the container. The name is still the nginx container, and you're going to use the image. And what you have here, Docker image, so you are referring back to this, then .nginx, so that you are referring to this. Okay, Docker image .nginx, then .latest is what you are going to go after. Okay, and for this container, the name is tutorial, and port internally you want to expose the application at 80, and externally if you want to connect, you will be connecting via port 8000. Okay, and kind of makes sense. Okay, so let's come back over here. So we have done that, and then what we'll do, we'll initialize the project. This is something you have to do. So if I do ls-l, now you see you have only one file right now, that's a main.tf. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm going to do terraform and init. What it's going to do is actually looking at the main.tf file, and it's downloading a whole bunch of stuff that it needs, and it says now Terraform has been successfully initialized. You may now begin working with Terraform. Try running Terraform the plan command to see any changes that are required for your infrastructure. All Terraform commands should now work. So that sounds a bit good. That's what we want, right? So do a clear on it, and let's just they are just directly doing the Terraform apply. So typically what you should always do is the Terraform and plan, and then hit enter. Something went wrong. Okay, Terraform, make sure Terraform plan. I'm gonna run it one more time. Okay, so this is a valid error, so it's saying hey, pinging Docker, so get the permission. Okay, so here I have a permission error problem. So let me see if I can run this with a sudo command, if that helps. Okay, so that works. So now what is going on in here? So this is a plan, so nothing has really happened. So what it's saying, Terraform used the selected providers to generate the following execution plan. Okay, resource actions are indicated with the following symbols. So plus means it's going to create those things. So it's going to create attach is false, and there's some whole bunch of other things they will create, but what is going to be the property, it will be known after you apply this change. Okay, you will have id, hostname, gateway, exit code, environment, entry point, all that stuff. There's some configuration like logs will not be generated. Log driver will be like a JSON file. Name is going to be tutorial. Read only is false. Remove volume true. All the kind of stuff. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do, and it says it's really gonna two to add, zero to change, zero to destroy. So next thing is sudo terraform apply, and now here it's ready to apply the changes. Okay, now you have to type yes in there just like I did and hit enter. So now you you see some output here. Okay, docker image nginx, it's creating, so it's really calling the docker. And let's see what it's done. So it's saying everything is done. It's creating creation complete, apply complete, resource 2 added, 0 changes and 0 destroyed. So if I do docker ps again, permission, I need to fix that. I'll show you in some other video how to run docker without the sudo. But here ps command, it shows the docker command that is actually running up and running, and you see that the tutorial container that we said the name of the tutorial is going to be the tutorial. It's running, and you have the 8000 to IP 8000 to 80 mapping of your port. So the last thing we need to do, so we're going to go to localhost 8000 in here, and that will take me to port 80 inside this docker container. So if I come back over here, try local host and then do 8000, sorry, so that should take me to the docker container. You see the welcome to nginx. Okay, so you are seeing this because my docker, my terraform application was successful. And again, if I'm going to show you a couple more things in here. Okay, if I now do ls-l, you see the Terraform tf state. So that is a new file that got created. And if I do ls-lah, and you see there is some hidden file, terraform.log.hcl, so that there's the HashiCorp language, something like that, that got created. And you also have a hidden folder .terraform. Okay, so you can also do, let's just do ls on .terraform, and here you have information about the providers. So if you do terraform dash providers, and again you can keep going, register terraform io, so register terraform io. So here you have two different things, another directory, and this one is most likely a file. So you know that all those, if I just do ls-l, so those are the main files that we are most interested in. This is the file where you wrote your code. This is the file that is maintaining the state. Okay, and so one more time, let's look at the main.tf and see the internal port within the container is 80, external port, so that's why you did localhost from your host machine, and you said, okay, give me the application that is running on port 8000. It was mapped to port 80 that is running inside the container. Okay, so let's see what to do. So let's do some quick, very interesting thing. Okay, so I'm gonna do escape colon x, and I'm gonna destroy the container. I'm gonna do data. I'll start with sudo terraform destroy. So what this command does is going to destroy everything that the apply command did, and I'm gonna say yes. So now if I come over here, okay, if I refresh the page, my container is gone. It's completely gone. So if I do docker ps in here, again I'm gonna have to do a sudo here, and you see there's nothing, there's no container running. Now say you really want to run the container at port 8080. You don't like 8000, you have the 8000 reserved for something else. So you can quickly go back to the main.tf file, okay, and then go down to your 8000 and just get rid of 8000. Let's see, insert mode, and then that is not escape. Sometimes this vi makes me crazy. Okay, 80 hit this thing. So 80, let me see if I can get rid of this, Okay, okay. Sometimes if you don't use the vim you get this error, so let me do something real quick. So do dd and let's come back over here. I 080, that's what I wanted. So instead of 8000 I want to run the application. I want to map it 8080 to the internal port 80 on the container. So let's save that one, and then I gotta do again sudo terraform. You can always, I start with a plan, make sure everything looks good, then I do apply, and that I say yes. Now it's creating the new container for me. And what will happen as soon as the container creation is done, okay, you can also do docker ps. I'm gonna have to do sudo on it. Okay, so now you see the 8080 port is now mapped to the 80 port inside the tutorial container. All right, now over here, if I try to refresh this one, it should not give me anything because there is nothing running on 88,000. But if I now change that to 8080, look at that. We are back. My container is running and everything is great. Okay, so that was my really quick and fast, getting started guide with Terraform and Docker, and just give you a flavor what you can do with Terraform and why I enjoy this tool. Well, I'm still learning, but I'm loving that tool, the language. Uh, I have an Ansible background, so in many ways it works very similar to how the Ansible worked. Okay, so I'm kind of comfortable. So ask me questions if you have any. Use the tool for your infrastructure as a code uh, a solution, and learn, have fun. Thank you for watching.